Hello, my name is Shudley and welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Merina Kingdom. In previous episode we joined the French market by being a protectorate of France. Now we haven't actually changed the trade policy laws yet, so we can't do any trade routes ourselves, but at least we are in a bigger market now. We are losing quite a lot of money though, but we're going to allow the private sector to take over the construction in its entirety soon, so that's going to cover most of the expenditure there. But we're probably going to have to increase our taxes a little bit, and the tea tax is not very good, so we're going to take that one away. We'll put in the luxury clothing tax instead, so that way we're not going to be losing too much. Now we're also soon-ish, I think, what we're going to do is what we'll probably do is we'll wait for the flotillas to hire a bit more people. Like, we should have up to 10 in here, but we only have 7 of them active. Now, to be fair, since they are slowly hiring more, it should mean that... oh, there we go, now we've got 8 of them. Good. So if we were to do a landing in Galede, which was the first target that we were thinking in here, although that does give it a border with Britain, so I'm not entirely sure if that's the best target, to be fair. You've got 7 battalions there, you got 2. So that would probably be the easiest one to do a landing in. You've got 2 plus 1. Let's see, Warzangali, if I was to declare war on you... They might not... actually, that's only 6 infamy as well. You know what, we'll start this one. We don't have any generals or admirals right now, so we'll need to hire some. So first, let's get the general. Let's see. We need... okay, brave is good for attack. Well, it's less morale loss, so it's good. Their defensive strategy could be quite handy later, but right now... ooh. Less morale loss, but the morale recovery is slowed down. Persistent, but that's less morale loss. So we've got a lot of good... in terms of morale loss. I think we're going to go with the defensive strategist though. I know it's not going to be the best right now in doing a landing, but I don't expect them to have a lot of troops. They will hire an admiral as well. The direct allows them to have... no, actually, it's probably the... oh, convoy ready. That's actually quite good. Yeah, we're going to go with that one. I know that it is landowner, so that's going to give them a bit more power, which isn't exactly ideal. But we'll do that. We'll mobilize the... well, actually, we don't mobilize the army yet. We'll see who joins. Now, we could call in France... actually... France would not join here. But we could ask them to join now, but they wouldn't do that. They are leaning towards me, though. Like, if we can take Varsangali, then we're going to take Izag and Martin and Galedi, and then, of course, Ethiopia itself. So the plan here is to get a bit of iron from there, and then we'll use Ethiopia as our... sort of base of army, so we can raise a decent army there, so we don't need to use the army over here too much. Because over here we don't have massive pops on. We've got 2.6 million now, so it is growing, but it's just the amount of industries and all that requiring people is quite high. So overall, we probably won't be making much of a difference there. And at this stage we can't call in France, but no one else seems to be leaning to any side here either. So we should be able to do this without... any interference, hopefully. And that means that we'll finally get some more land. I mean, we've spent already 1/3 of the game without doing any war, so I think it's time to do some expansion. But yeah, Ethiopia will be sort of the base of getting more troops for us, essentially. And then we can maybe actually... I wonder if we could bring in France against Britain and take Kenya. Oh, we'll probably take Zanzibar from Oman as well at some point, but... we'll need to slowly start expanding. If we can get some of Arabia as well, that would allow us to get some lead and sulfur, which is not bad. Oh, and everyone's declared neutrality. Okay, at this stage, it might be time to mobilize. And can you naval... well, you can't naval invade yet. But no one joined, which is definitely good news. We are going to be losing a bit of cash here now with the armies active and all that. 2 arms! Naval landing. Marzangali. I don't think they've got... yeah, they got irregulars. We got light infantry and mobile artillery, so our troops should be a lot better quality. Of course, we don't have enough support for the landing itself, but I think our numbers will give us the victory. Ooh, Britain is actually improving relations with us. Well, I'll be. Also, we might be getting the cultural exclusion soon enough. We've got 35% chance of passing it, so I'm fairly, well, optimistic. Ah, there we go. We passed it. And we did have enough of an authority sort of store up there, so that's not a problem. So let's, actually, I suppose that's probably more radical, some standard living decreases now. But we will potentially have some more cultures accepted. Actually, all the cultures that we have right now are accepted. So the turmoil in those should start going down, I guess. How long until the landing? Another 12 days, okay. And then we can see, I mean, it should be fairly easy landing, let's be honest. And then once we get the ports done, which we are building, oh, there we go. So we got 9 versus 2. They got higher defense than our attack, but we got the numbers advantage in here. So we will win this, no doubt. If you have to look at the details, they are losing their manpower quite a bit, but it is getting... So the distance between these two is not that large anymore, but it is a victory nonetheless. There we go. Well, we did the landing at least. And now we're advancing through here, and now since we are on the land, it's going to be a lot easier. So this should be over soon enough. How much are they losing war support now? They are losing about 7 per week. Okay, make that 14, 15 per week. So yeah, they will probably take this peace deal soon enough. And then our troops can be... Well, I suppose we can't demobilize them, but the war is going to be over soon, so we won't have to pay for the troops quite as much. Oh, France, why thank you. Okay, so now we're basically not even losing money. A tiny bit. But once we get the port done, then the private industry is going to take over the construction anyway, so that's going to save us another 9... Oh, 8... Almost 9,000, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to start making some money. We're going to build up a bit of cash or so. We might even be able to do some fighting. There we go. Let's propose the peace deal. And we've got ourselves some new land here. So, first of all, we need to probably go through some of the things that we can't really support in here. We got the port. For that one, I'm going to put the cargo port. Do we actually have any market access in here? Not yet. Now, that might just take a few moments to sort of recalculate it. Or we might have to do save and reload for it to recalculate that. That's also a possibility. She will declare rivalry. Oh, right, but now we can declare a new interest, can't we? Because we've got the set interest there. We could put one in Congo. We could put one in Southern Africa. Or we could put one in Arabia. But we don't have colonization, so Arabia might be actually the better option right now. So we probably need to... Oh, there we go. We've got 27% market access there, which is quite rubbish, but at least we got a little bit in there. And I think we need to start reducing a lot of the things like the tooling workshop. There's not really any wood available in here, so I'm just gonna remove that entirely. The arms industry we might leave there. There's 2 infrastructure per level of those. The iron mines are 2 per level as well. We could probably reduce this by another 2. We'll put it to level 1 for now. We can rebuild it eventually later, but right now we just need to sort of reduce the worker shortfall that we have. Meat price, well, it could make a little bit more money. What about the millet farm? We could use a bit of harvesting tools there. Save a decent bit of laborers. And it's currently in orchard mode, which is probably alright. Still don't have the better farming abilities. I think this barracks will be removed entirely. So let's have a look. How bad is it going to be? It just improving relations. Okay. So there's quite a bit of turmoil in there. I'm not surprised by that. I suppose we don't have enough authority for what I'm thinking here. But how much is the... That's about 1,000 from there. We'd have to expend or use quite a bit more money to increase the government wages. I'm just thinking if we could increase our authority a little bit and then put in the emergency relief thing in there, so we could maybe reduce the turmoil quite a bit. The tea plantations aren't really employing a lot of people, so we can probably reduce that to level 1. Wellworth coffee plant, that is already level 1, but it's only employing 20 people. Okay, so that's gonna go away. The millet farms we're going to leave. Livestock farms we can probably reduce the numbers a tiny bit. Maybe leave it to like 2. So that's again going to increase the turmoil a little bit, but at the same time it reduces the infrastructure use. Oh, Kappa is improving relations as well. Right, a fishing wharf. That is employing most of the people already. We can probably put in the clippers there, so there's more machinists instead of laborers. Textile mill, that could actually use the dye workshop. Do we have silk available? As a matter of fact, there is silk available. That does remind me though, do we have silk in use here? No, we don't. We probably should. Get some more luxury clothing into the market. I mean, it's not that we necessarily need it too badly. But thanks to France paying off our loans, we don't need to worry too much about this. And currency standard is going to be spreading to us in about 3 months. Let's have a look at the... So currency standards, that's in society. So after that, we're getting colonization. So we can finally get to the position where we can maybe grab a little bit more land in Africa. Hopefully. And it was the currency standards unlocking... per capita taxation. Now that could be quite useful. But there we go, we got our landing there. We're gonna wait until the port is done. Who's this one? Rule folk and intelligentsia. I'm gonna ban the dueling at this stage. Intelligentsia landowners are both the... Oh, hold on a minute. Do we have intelligentsia in the... No, we don't have them in the government. It wouldn't be particularly... Okay, it wouldn't be particularly good government. Once we get our heir in power, who's currently 14 already. So slowly but surely we're getting to the point where he might be able to take over. What about industrialist? No, that wouldn't be good enough either. So there isn't really any good options beyond the just landowners there. Which is fair enough, I suppose. Oh, right, now that we've got more people... Oh, these are all accepted cultures as well. Now, there's not a lot of pops in here. Is there any sort of immigration coming in here? Or migration? Not really, as far as we can tell anyway. Let's just double check some of these buildings. So, arms industry, it is making cannons and muskets. It's not really getting a lot of the stuff in there. Plus, this is quite small. I mean, how much does this use infrastructure? There's another 2, and we got... I might remove this one as well. It means that they've got even less workplaces to go to, but I suppose there's still a lot of openings, so it's not too bad. And that means that infrastructure levels are going to be slightly better again. Is the port in full... Yeah, it is working full speed. We could maybe give this another level. Although first, let's just wait for the money to accumulate again. Let's get, like, I don't know, 500,000 maybe into the bank. Well, maybe not quite that long, but... Now that we've got the private sector doing all the construction for us, we're getting sugar, food, and then we'll get some paper mills as well. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that they'll just build so many things in here that we won't have the population to work it at all. But, you know, at the same time, I suppose the standard of living will be increasing in there. So it's not all bad. Man, you've got a lot of stuff in here as well. My goodness. So the turmoil it is actually dropping. Largely to the fact that we've increased the infrastructure in here and they've got access to a lot more things. So it definitely helps. I suppose one of the things that I could do, so I could reduce the taxation a little bit. It means that we'll get a bit less money. But at the same time, legitimately will go up to some degree. Ah, there we go, per capita taxation, and it leads to banking. Right, let's actually have a look at the text. So we've got colonization now underway. Then we could, well, the distillation is probably going to be done before we get to that. Cannery could be quite useful, but no, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for the agriculture upgrade finally. And then after that, maybe get a little bit more military. Armor reserves is going to be done soon enough anyway. So maybe the paddle steamer. That's going to give us a bit of convoys. Monday from the Netherlands. I've begun migrating to southern Madagascar. Oh, West Africans. I mean, fair enough. If they are... Well, they are accepted culture, so yeah, that works fine. And eventually they might even assimilate, but... Oh, armor reserves unlocked, good. But that does mean that we'll have a bit more pops to work here, so... Well, we don't have a massive stack, or stockpile of them, let's just say. And there we go, paddle steamer has started spreading already. Which, to be fair, is no surprise. 20 months until we get colonization. We do need a bit more bureaucracy. How much is the shortfall? It's 700, so it's not the end of the world. We can probably give this another level. Which does mean that we're going to be paying a little bit extra, but it shouldn't be too... a time-consuming construction there. It's about 20 weeks. Oh, and Great Britain colonizing Rift Valley once again. Right, well, we'll just let the... Oh, and food industry is almost done. That's good. That's going to increase our money probably quite a bit overall. Because it is quite profitable. Weekly balance over 2,000. Now, admittedly, it's not quite fully built yet, but it's almost there. What do we have? Low market access in Somaliland and North Madagascar. That's not a surprise, to be fair. Got a bit of a low legitimacy, but I can't do much about that. Class price is a little bit on the expensive side, as well as the explosives. And then Somaliland is in turmoil, but is it... There's already 44.6. It is going down with fairly steady speed, I dare say. We might have to build the extra port in here at some point, but I suppose we'll probably capture some ports from the other nations in here. So we don't actually need to build extra ones, now that I think of it. But now we're down to... Well, we got almost 104... Well, yeah, we're getting about 10,000 or almost 10,000 pounds debt per week. But we're going to get the government administration built soon. So that's going to give us a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Now we're no longer losing the money. Slowly getting money from the investment pool. Not a lot though, but a little bit. And there we go, now that the bureaucracy is increasing, the taxes that we can make are improving as well. Getting a paper mill. Paper isn't too expensive, to be fair. Getting another logging camp is probably not a bad idea, to be fair. So the private sector is doing okay work. It's definitely not the best, but it's alright. Right, so you are cooperative, at least. We are still neutral, so if I was to conquer you, you wouldn't really have a lot of helpers, would you? I think we are going to try conquering that. And then let's just... we'll wait a little bit before we send in the troops. You know what, we are going to send the troops already in there. So what else is the private sector building? Oh, arms industries. Okay, that could be quite useful. Getting some logging camps in southern Madagascar. There we go, that's completed. There's some livestock ranches. It takes quite a while for the troops to arrive in here, which is why I wouldn't mind getting like Oromia over here, for example, because it's got fairly decent population. Got 2.5 million, which would basically double our population right now, at least. Ah, distillation, so we can get the patent stills for food industry. Let's have a look at that then. Would that make a profit? It would require some more glass, but the glass price isn't actually that much. The amount of liquor that we produce is massive, so we might actually get a lot more money. Although it's not guaranteed, but it's a good chance that it will give us a fair bit of extra money. I mean, well, actually I'm not entirely sure if it's getting all that better. But now we're eating through the investment pool quite a bit, but at the same time, we've got 2.3 million in there. So honestly, it's not too bad. We could even perhaps increase the construction speed a little bit. Okay, another one. Oh, right. We are running a bit low on the peasants. The war started, and I don't think anyone joined. At least I didn't get any notification, so it should be fairly simple. War here. I mean, we got the advantage in troop quality and numbers. So this should be fairly quick. So we'll just slowly take Somaliland again. Seems to be something that I take quite a few times in this game. But, you know, it's got iron, and it's usually fairly lightly defended. Plus, it opens the way into Ethiopia, which does have a lot of decent base resources. Like, it doesn't have coal or iron necessarily, but it does have a lot of wood and good population and a good selection of different plantations that could be had there. So that makes it somewhat valuable base resource, and, you know, just as a base of population, good taxpayers or just the buyers for the market and all that. Right, so this should be over soon-ish. I'm sure that they'll start losing their war support fairly quickly here. And I think once it goes below 0 over there, then they'll lose a lot more. Or the acceptance of this peace deal would go up quite a bit, let's just put it that way. Oh, there we go. Just maybe 2 more weeks? Might be a little bit longer than that, but they should be giving up soon. Then we'll need to figure out what exactly we inherited from there, and we may need to... Oh, there we go. Remove a lot of the buildings there again. Ah, actually, we've got a bit of authority, so what we're going to do is we are going to put the decree of emergency relief in there. It might cost us quite a bit, but actually it seems like it's costing us a lot, although I'm not entirely sure if that is exactly correct. It might be that the investment pool transfers didn't go through. Oh, hold on a minute. Do we actually have... Oh, we got the... We don't necessarily need more iron mines in there. We've got probably way too many anyway. Right, so let's figure out... furniture manufacturer, we don't need 2 levels there, that's for sure. Tooling workshops, we don't need 2 levels. We could maybe put in 1 level with the raw iron tools. Arms industry, we... Well, you employ 18 people, you don't need to be there. Food industry, you employ 50 people. I mean, having a food industry here could be useful, but right now I don't think we can realistically speaking keep it up and running, although I think the sweeteners would probably be making pretty good money overall. And we've got all the pot stills, that seems to be the better option there. The furniture manufacturing, we've got layers there already. We could go for the luxury furniture production. And then we've got a tooling workshop, right, so we'd reduce that by 1 level. Paper mill, I don't think we need this one. It's not employing a lot of people. Arts Academy, we might actually save this one. And then the farms, we've got quite a few. At least we are using... Oh, actually. If we have a look at the workforce, so we're missing a little bit of everything. So we can probably reduce at least 1 level there. Without it causing any issues. And how is the infrastructure? We've got 41 out of 17. We've got a double port there at least, so that's going to allow us to hire a bit more people. And it should give us another 3 infrastructure more or less. So we should be able to calculate up to 20. So we still need to remove about half of these if we want to get the stuff properly. I think the barracks will go. We just don't have the pops in here to run that. And then tea plantations, we can probably remove at least a couple levels. Just double checking. Okay, if we remove one more, it's gonna fire a few people, but that should be fine. The livestock ranches we can probably... well, actually, no, they are employing pretty much all of it already. Let's just unpause. So now we've got a few unemployed at least. The farms over here are mostly fine. Fishing wharfs could probably be reduced a little bit. And then the iron mines we can probably reduce as well to some degree. Oh, we got the... oh, right, we got the engine. Okay. Right, so that's going to increase the production at the cost of more coal. That does remind me, though, actually. What I could probably do is for the urban centers, stop using coal. That's going to save... oh, right, that does increase employment as well. Which actually might not be a bad idea right now. So we'll just remove the gas lighting. There we go. That's going to relieve a little bit more workforce. I managed to get at least a bit more of this area. So this is basically the area that the British would control then. At some point later on, after the First World War. Although I think they may have controlled that already before. But regardless, we control that now. Petite bourgeoisie is quite upset. Oh, radicals from discrimination. Oh. Well, there's not really any discriminated populations. So there's that. And the amount of pops that we have are quite small, actually. Or some of the pops over there are quite small in comparison. We're now making £2,000 per week, which isn't all that much, but it's better than nothing. So how's the infrastructure levels in here? 32 out of 20. So I did predict correctly that it would be about 20 infrastructure that we'd have. We could maybe remove one more livestock ranch, at least. And then maybe another millet farm. Just to relieve a little bit of the workforce. They still should have a decent bit of food overall. Of course, the turmoil now is 48% again. But now we've got 2/3 market access, so that's already a little bit better. I suppose if we were to... oh, right, we don't have a lot of bureaucracy available right now. Do we have a lot of pops here? We've got 9,000 and 11,000, so in other words, not really. So bureaucracy is going to be somewhat limited. And if we want to get... oh, there we go, more. Oh. We could probably put in the decree to road maintenance in Somaliland. Which should mean that we'll have even better market access. It's not massively better, but it's like, what, 10% extra? I think so, yeah. So, you know, it gives us a slightly better situation in here. And thus, we'll have access to more stuff. And the stuff from here will be able to reach the French market slightly better. Right, I suppose another thing... I mean, Margentine, how much do we have? We've got only 2.8 infamy right now. So if we were to conquer Margentine, they wouldn't necessarily be that much enemies either. Ooh, in recognition of accomplishment. I think industrialists deserve all the credit. Although we could credit the workers, but that wouldn't necessarily be good for the approval ratings as such right now. Right. 2 weeks for the colonization. Then we could... I don't know if we can start passing it immediately, but we'll have a look. Let's see, colonial resettlement, that's just... okay, industrialists support the colonial exploitation. We don't have anyone supporting it right now, then. Alright, then. Oh, and another thing that we do need to... oh, actually. How's the legitimacy? If we were to reform the government to have the armed forces in there, that would be 46, so that would be pretty bad. That would still allow us to try passing laws, to be fair. I think we're going to confirm that one. We're going to stop bolstering the industrialists. We're going to start bolstering the armed forces for the time being. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get the professional army, for example. Landowners do not like that one, but a lot of the others do. And I think that's going to be worth more for us right now. So we'll have a little bit better quality of the army. I mean, right now, I suppose the production methods, we haven't really gotten any new ones there recently. So that's not really something that I need to be worrying about, but at least we got... oh, we've gotten up to 3 million in pops. Okay, I mean, there's a decent growth in there. And there's some unincorporated pops as well. So is that... hold on a minute. Right, so there isn't really that much immigration over here right now. There was a short period of time there, I suppose. But it's already gone. There's a little bit of market access missing here. We've got the port already pretty much... It is max level, actually. Alright, then over here we've got max... Yeah, that's max 5. Oh, North German Federation is improving relations with us. So a lot of the nations are improving relations with us. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to try and get the Maritime soon enough. Like, we are slowly paying off the debt, but it's not going all that quickly. Private sector is building some more tooling workshops, fishing wharves, whaling stations. Whaling station, I suppose the oil isn't really that much needed on the market yet, is it? No, it really isn't. There's a little bit of buy orders for pop consumption. Like, okay. Oh, right, if I remember correctly, it's used for heating. Yeah, it's used for heating. Actually, have a look at the heating real quick. Right, so it's the default. Fabric is equal to 1 unit of wood. Coal is equal to 1.5 units of wood. Oil is for 2 units of wood, and electricity is 1.5 as well. Okay, so oil is the most effective way of heating, but it usually isn't used all that much. Where did that go? I didn't check the target state, but it's... Oh, over here. How much do they have? It's not discriminated in our nation. We've got already 300,000 of them. We're slowly getting at least a little bit more pops in here. Oh, projected migration, about 17,000. I mean, 17,000 per year extra. I mean, it's not going to last forever, but like, at least for a little bit, it's not bad. We've got standard of living already at 13.1, so we're actually doing fairly well in there. We've managed to definitely increase our industrialization over here. We might want to build a port over here in our capital, and we'll build another one at... Oh, Southern Madagascar can't have another one. Never mind. Well, we'll at least get that one. Got 1,000 convoys already waiting, but of course I can't do any trade. Now, I do hope that we can get the professional army pass this time around. We kind of do need it. Okaleri has been improving relations with us. What about Maritime? They are wary of me. I don't blame them. I wouldn't get necessarily anyone helping me. Hold on a minute. Am I still part of the... We are still part of the French markets. Now that we started constructing, we're going to be losing a little bit of money. It's not too bad money loss, and we could always increase the taxes to be over here, so we're basically not losing anything. Of course, that does increase the radical numbers quite a bit, so it's not all great, but I suppose it's better than nothing. So let's go ahead and do the war against Maritime. Actually, we're not going to do it in this episode, because I do realize we are pretty much out of time for this one. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.